If you've been listening to the podcast for a while and thought, man, I would love to grab a drink and pick the brain of some of these guests I've been listening to, or maybe me as well, here's your shot. I'm putting on an event this April called Elevate. This is the third year doing this, and we're going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, where we're going to have the top agency owners really come together, share what's working, get real on what's not, and really help each other scale faster. So if you're ready to finally get out of the weeds and grow your agency the right way, I want you to join me and 50 other amazing 7 and 8 figure agencies at Elevate. You'll connect with people who've been there, leave with a real growth plan, and actually enjoy the process. Now, we only have a few tickets left, so make sure you go over to elevatemyagency.com to lock in your spot now. Go to elevatemyagency.com now. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. Happy to have you on. For the people that don't know you yet, who are you? What you do?
Yeah, of course. I'm Brian Hansen. I have Rocket Pilots. We are a marketing agency vertically focused on the law firm niche. So we mostly work with ambitious law firms that are looking to blow their revenue targets out of the water.
That's awesome. How'd you get started, and how'd you pick the legal space?
Yeah, I was kind of anticipating the accidental agency owner question, right? So I came from big agency world and just experienced the normal frustrations, right, of how marketing agencies kind of in the main, right, mistreat SMBs, right? So that was kind of my principal inspiration, just to do it differently with old school values that for some reason people tend to forget about, honesty, transparency, following through on what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
And then how did I get to lawyers? Well, the hard way, Jason, right? So, I was
to go through all the real estate agents, the marinas.
Exactly. I was green behind the ears, and I served multiple different verticals, and then also had a product offering that was too wide. It's just not a good combination to run a successful industry. So, we figured out that we were doing the best for law firms. So it was easy. We just niched down to lawyers, skinning down the product line, the service offering. Now we only do what we're really good at, and we're happy to say no if we're not experts at it, and refer it to somebody else that will do a bang up job. So
yeah. I want to get into, we were kind of starting to kind of jam on AI before I hit record, and I was like, we can't talk anymore. We got to save it for the show, because it was really pretty, it was a lot of fun. Like I really do enjoy it, because it's the biggest shift I've seen ever in my 26 years of, doing this. And, I saw the internet come up, or,
right.
Starting to get used widely. So, you were telling me a little bit about, how are you guys using AI within your agency? Because I feel like I was telling you, it's kind of like this superpower it's given to normal people.
It's amazing. Yeah. So we're actually going through kind of a transformation right now. And, I refer to it as that we're going AI native, right? And it took me a little while to really understand what that means, right? Because that's down to your folder structure. That's down to how you put the files in there, and how everything's structured, right? Because if you're going to use custom GPTs as a force multiplier, if you're going to use Google Gems to really save time and empower your employees, you need to think through all of that, right? So we've done some of that, but we're going to kind of complete that process. So we're like fully AI native. And then the next thing, there's been some recent kind of like mandates to employees, right? And this is because what happened recently, right? Because if you think about last year was just like, no one really knew what to do, right? Like most of the consulting was like, don't just like chase all of this stuff. You're going to spend all day on AI, right? But that's over. So now we're actually building, right? People are building and getting true value out of it. So my team is required to have Claude co-work, right? They're required to understand it. They're starting to get tasked with experimental stuff, right? Hey, is your SEO skills updated, and did you automate this process? So yeah, that's a little bit of how we're doing it. We're
It's
having a blast with it.
yeah. I mean, I think the people that are just still just chatting to it are
Yeah,
missing out,
yeah,
right? Because then they'll be like, create me an image of a dog holding a banana on a skateboard going down a mountain.
yeah.
And then like every time it's different. But I like that you said you're kind of building the foundation or the folder structure, and
Right.
really kind of what that means to me, because we've been doing the same,
Yeah.
where it's like, all right, in order for AI to operate like a strategist for you or a designer, you have to give it some context,
That's right.
and it has to know more about you. Like one of the documents that we're constantly updating is what I call the AI brief document. And this is
Okay.
everything about agency mastery, who our ICP is, who is not our ICP. What do we stand for? What do we believe? Who's the enemy, right? Going through our branding guidelines, or, things that we will do, what we won't do, right? And just even that document alone has changed the responses, from whatever model that you use. Hi there, agency owners. Let me ask you, are you ready to scale your agency without increasing your overhead costs? If yes, then you need to know about E2M Solutions. Now, E2M is the number one most reliable white label partner for agencies. They specialize in web design, WordPress development, e-commerce, SEO, and content writing. They basically do all the heavy lifting, which frees you up to focus on growing your agency. Now, here's the best part. E2M is just not another vendor. With over 10 years of experience, their team of over 300 experts has a track record of delivering for more than 300 agencies. They're your strategic partner. They deliver on time every time, so you can focus on what you do best. Now, E2M's mission is simple: to help 500 agencies increase their revenue and profit margins with white label services that actually work. And to help you get started, they're offering a special deal, 10% off for the first 3 months, but act fast because it's only a limited time offer. So head over to e2msolutions.com/smartagency to check out their transparent and their flexible pricing. Trust me, if you're ready to grow without burning out, E2M is the partner you've been looking for. That's e2msolutions.com/smartagency. Go check them out and tell them Jason Swank sent you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys are going down the right path. And then, as you get like a better understanding of, these models and like kind of task model alignment, it kind of informs the organization of how you create new documentation, because now you can kind of see it, 360. So I think about it from the perspective of like, I know there's like some 20 something year old out there, right, that like is just launching a business, and God bless his heart, right, because he or she is going to be able to do it all right from day one, right, and have everything set up. So it's like, I want to kind of reposition us like to where we're there, right? So it's just you kind of laugh at the efficiency gains that you can get, when you do it that way.
It's really nuts about, right? Like I even look at it as, we were talking about using particular models, and I don't even want to say them right now because I feel like they might be outdated.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of why I was like, look, these models are just going to keep getting better and better. But what you need to figure out is like, what do I feed it? Like,
Yeah.
one of the apps that we built within our mastermind that I was telling you a little bit about, which I think is really pretty cool. Like, we would have never been able to do this before. Like, I used to have to be a hard time programmer. Now we can just literally speak what we want, and it creates. And like what we wanted to do is we used to, have this document, like this spreadsheet where all the members would answer questions, and then we could track kind of where they're at and what we could help them out. We'd never give them any advice until we looked at it. So we created an app where it asks like 17 deep questions, because our whole goal, like in the mastermind, is to remove those bottlenecks and move those roles up. And so we created these to let them know where they're at, and then what do they need to do, and then it compares their answers each quarter. And it's fantastic. Like, it's like, how could we build this?
Yeah, well, and I like how you said that, you're just speaking to it, because some of the internal apps that we've built, we're using a tool called Replit, and it just so happens that today Replit 4 came out, and one of the updates it has design and development like completely integrated, right? So if you're using one of these speech to text apps, which I'm sure you are, I am too, but one I like is called Whisper, you feel like a software like titan, because you're just sitting in your office, articulating your thoughts to it, doing some planning with it, watching it build, which used to take weeks, right? I mean, the SOP you get from like custom boutique dev shops is like, we'll update the live link every couple weeks so you can see the progress. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, this has created an impatience that's unparalleled. I want to see the update and the credits burning in like 3 to 5 minutes, right? You can also instruct Replit to say, whether you're doing this or not, it's just an impressive example. Hey, I'm going to take this to market. I'm going to go do a small seed round based on what you know about my app and my value proposition. Can you create me like a nice looking pitch deck? Ship it to mobile, and it's wild, right? What you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I built so many apps in the days of custom programming. Like we built LegalZoom back in the day when they were founded, right? And that took a long, long time. You can replicate that really, really fast, which is amazing, right? I feel like the agencies that are going to win, or let's talk about the agencies that are going to lose. The ones that are going to lose are the ones that are average. Yeah. The ones that have been going, we've done it this way all the time. Like, I remember when I came up in the digital age, designing websites and interactive and all that kind of stuff back when we were calling interactive agencies, right? The traditional agencies were like, it's a fad. And like, we're not going to do this digital thing or this tweet. Like, what's a tweet? And they're gone, right? Because they were average. They didn't focus on kind of the result. Now, most people are not like you and I, where we're going to do vibe coding and talk to the computer and create stuff. And, most people are just going to ChatGPT and be like, here's my weight. What do I need to do? Right. And it should say, run more, fat ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think there's going to be agencies that lose, that their employees just don't understand, right? The pressure from the market. Right, the market is squeezing you to say, I better get really good at AI, and I better be able to demonstrate that to my employer, how I'm using it, right, to be a superhuman, right, to be almost like this project manager that is just keeping everything on track with guardrails, but using my subject matter expertise in areas where the AI is not applicable, your domain expertise, your tribal knowledge, right? And I hope it's a wake-up call, right? Because I mean, it is a little bit scary, right? A little unsettling of what it can do.
Well, I think last year most people were really scared of it or they weren't scared of it, they were more overwhelmed because everyone had a stupid little tool. And there were so many different things out there that did okay things. And so people were like, it's another AI tool. Like, literally, I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I was at the poker table, and like the dealer, I remember asking, what does everybody do? And I go around the table. I have an AI app. I have an AI app. I have an AI app. I was like, are you serious? Like, I just want to be like, I'm a horse jockey. And they're like,
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
You're like 6'3". Like, how is that possible? I'm like, it's a fucking really big horse.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing.
But like they were overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
then I feel like this year they have more of a focus, right? And, one of the things that, I'll be talking about at Elevate, our event in Phoenix, is really having an AI leveraged agency.
There
And
you
you
go.
have to have a champion, whether it be you or someone in the agency that really starts showing little wins to the rest and be like, man, like this is pretty cool. Like I started, Stacy, and I started showing Stacy some of the things that we're doing on Claude. And I was like, well, here, let me send you all the skills I trained it on. Let me send you the context and give you the folders, the file folders and all that kind of stuff. Because I believe like when I first started doing it, I started doing it for custom GBTs, right? Last year.
Sure.
And you upload a bunch of stuff and then you really can't download it. So then I was like, this is going to kind of handcuff me to this one platform. So I was like, I'm going to build out a whole file structure like you were talking about that I can just go boom, boom on whatever model I want because it changes so quick. But it's just like you have to have someone that's that champion.
You do. And I was reading a little bit about this, and there seems to be some data to suggest that for whatever reason, it's always the founder first, right? The founder is always like the most inquisitive and is like diving into these things. So I think we all need to be aware that we don't create this like massive like knowledge gap, right? Where like the founder has turned themselves into like this AI wizard. And then the employees are like, well, I saw a couple YouTube videos, but like, right. So that has to flow downstream.
Yep.
And it needs to be like part of the company culture. Well, people aren't just like using it, but they're like sincerely enthusiastic about making their day-to-day better. Right. And I think, you were talking about before, who's going to win, who's going to lose. Well, the agencies that, have teams that are like stoked on it and in their Slack sharing AI wins and doing like what's done in the mastermind, like what's working now in my job for AI, and let me present that. That's the cultural shift that's going to kick butt. Yeah.
Well, it's an evolution, right? Like I look at, when I look back at my career at the first agency, when I sold, I felt like I sold at the time I thought I was at the top of my game for me personally. And I felt like, because the agency can't outgrow the founder while the founder's in the driver's seat.
Sure.
Right. That driver, that owner is going to slow up the car around the corner when you're actually supposed to speed up around this corner and do it. So what I've realized is there's kind of these evolutions of your role. Like you think about like when you started your agency, you're an agency founder. Then you started doing everything within the agency. Now you're an operator.
Sure.
And then from the operator, you go to a manager, or you're managing tasks and managing people, but they're not making decisions. Then you go to an architect and then CEO, and then you're really, truly the owner. I mean, you can step away for a month, still getting a check, right?
Yeah.
Still growing. People are making amazing decisions. They're not pulling you back into all this shit, right? You just kind of identify where you're at and be like, how do I evolve faster than everybody else? That's the winning formula.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes, and it might be hard for that person to look in the mirror, but sometimes the agency can get big enough where they're not going to grow it anymore and they need that CEO role, right?
Did you know that agencies are losing 15 to 30% of profit every year, and most don't even actually realize it? The usual suspects are poor time tracking, manual timesheets, scope creep, untracked revisions. One or all of them could be draining your agency's revenue. Now, Toggle's agency profit heist turns this mystery into a game. Answer a few questions about your workflow, gather clues, discover exactly where your profits are leaking, and how to fix them. Start your investigation now by going to toggle.com/smartagency. That's Toggle, TOGGL.com/smartagency. Plus, get 10% off annual plans with the code SMARTAGENCY10 at checkout. Or just mention Jason Swank sent you. And that's when I sold, right? Because I got to the CEO role. I didn't get to the owner role.
I see.
Right? I still had to be pulled back for the most important decisions.
Yeah.
Not all the decisions, but the most important. But looking back at all the stuff I know now, I'm like, dang, dude, man, I could have grew that way bigger.
Yeah. But that's always the thing, right? If I knew what I know now, right, we can always say that. But
yeah.
I also think, it's a really interesting like conversation, like when we start getting down to like the more like product side stuff with AI, because like I find it kind of fascinating when I'm like, scrolling LinkedIn, and it's like everybody's got like a new app and like we have new terms now, and it's like SEO is now GEO and AEO. And so, I kind of feel bad for these marketing leaders, business owners, in particular for me, these law firms, because we're back to that area of marketing where like things are really muddy, right?
Well, it's AI slop.
AI slop and these like outlandish claims. And we're back to these like fear mongering, right? Tactics and stuff. And it's just like,
My favorite are the stupid freaking ads are, I replaced your whole agency with my stupid little fucking app.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, okay, what are you working for the little Girl Scouts that are selling cookies at the end of the street?
I mean, we've always had like every year the article would come out that SEO is dead, right? It's just the narrative has changed because it used to be whatever reason they came up with, right? Whether it was PPC or meta ads, right? But now they've shifted the narrative because of all the LLMs, right? Now SEO is dead because everybody, Jason, is on ChatGPT, which is like hysterical because like the stats for like the ideal client profile for my clients, like, their perfect clients, it's like 1 to 3% of the users are using ChatGPT, and the folks who use ChatGPT also use Google, right? But then they're on LinkedIn, and it's like, if you're not number one in ChatGPT, you're going out of business tomorrow. It's just like,
and that goes to, I think, a thing I was talking to the mastermind yesterday about is, I've been putting out content for the past 12 years as a personal brand.
Yeah.
And that only benefits us.
Yeah.
And I told all the members, I said, if your referrals dried up, some of your sales channels dried up, what would you do? Like, how would you operate in the next 90 days? Like, do people know who you are? Have you built the brand? And if you've built the brand, how do you keep them on your brand? How do you make them excited? Like, I always think of like brands like Harley Davidson. They have more people with darn tattoos, a company brand engraved on your skin. Right?
Yeah.
Why?
Talk about creating brand loyalists, right?
Yes.
It's amazing.
And I'm not saying like we need to create brands like that where you're going to get a Brian tattoo and your name is Todd. That'd be kind of creepy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd hang out with that person. Like, I'd be like, Todd, all right, like restraining order.
Next level, man. Yeah.
I admire the commitment. I appreciate that. But like, that's what I want people to think about is how do you build a brand now and build it the right way? Not have this stupid AI slop that comments on my LinkedIn because I know it's an AI robot.
Right.
Like, how do you build that real connection? And I only think that will help out with the AI models recommending you and what your advice is. Like, think
Yeah,
about, I read an article the other day about, Gemini just goes through YouTube videos. They're
sure.
starting to go through Instagram videos. Like, it's actually dictating it and then taking that piece of advice from that person rather than just text, which I love because I hate fucking writing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that reminds me. Like I've been asked several times, what do I think about the concept of using the AI avatar, right? The video avatar on social media. And I just always kind of
Mm,
smirk when I get it. I'm like, well, I mean, listen, I know it's March 2026, right? So maybe in a few years, what I'm about to say will be completely obsolete. But right now, you can tell, right? And I think most people aren't
somewhat.
really enthusiastic about like
Yeah.
watching you on YouTube or TikTok or whatever
I'm
as your
all AI
AI
right
avatar.
now. I, Jason's climbing a mountain. This is not Jason.
Just to make sure, right?
No, I'm just
So I mean
kidding.
that's where that authentic, personal brand, uh, comes into play. But people
Well,
will
dude,
go to great lengths for the shortcut.
I think the Emmys or some kind of stupid a movie awards coming up, and this one company that creates these AI avatars
Yeah.
created a music video, and it was this pretty woman singing a country song. Everyone thought it was real. It looked real, and then even created like the behind the scenes of like her getting ready and all this kind of stuff. In the
Gnarly.
very end, it was like, I'm not real. And
Wow.
like even like the most, like the biggest actors in the world were like, oh my God, we're done.
Yeah, it's eye opening. I mean, I went to Tavis the other day, Tavis AI, and on their home screen, you could initiate a video call. It was with an AI avatar, and he commented on things in my office. Like he could see my logo and my frames behind me, and it was still pretty weird, like the facial
Yeah.
expressions. It was clear that it was not a human, but the experience was wild. And yeah, I mean, I think it's inevitable, right? We will arrive at that time where you just
I
probably will
think it's
not
quicker than you think.
probably. Yeah, yeah, it's
Right.
advancing
But I
fast.
also think the people that keep doing it will be, I mean, like, it's all about connection. I think that's when live events are going to be even more of a premium
Yeah,
because then people can kind of see it's real versus, Zoom. Oh, you're
yeah,
right. Like, or like, am I really talking to a real person?
I
Like,
know.
it's it's really weird, but it just like every week it changes so fast. And I think the ones that are going to win are the ones that are curious,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because I was talking to Travis from
yeah.
Rise Up, and I love him to death, right? Like, they're close to 25 million in revenue,
Crushing
right?
it. Yeah,
And they are the most humble people. They are so excited about everything. I literally went to him today. I said, please don't ever change. Like,
yeah,
stay an adolescent in your
yeah.
business, even though you're a monster business,
That's right.
right? Like, most people would get to that level and they would be like, I know everything. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they start going, what's got us here is going to get us to the next step. And then they go under.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes him a good entrepreneur, though, right? Those are those intangibles that when it's like when you hire that employee, you think they have it, but you don't really know until you start working with them, right? And I can't think of a better time in business to be curious and inquisitive, right? Jumping into all these tools and thinking about them in a practical manner, how they can add value to your clients, to your employer, that's a very valuable character trait right now, right?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. Well, Brian, thanks so much for coming on the show. Everyone listening, make sure you subscribe so you never miss out some of the cool guests and interviews and insights that they have. Because we try not to talk about specific tools because they change so fast, but if you can kind of gather that foundation and that infrastructure and that system, and you can build on that, that will be the difference for you. So make sure you go do that. And until next time, have a swank day.